The second one, counsel number two. Counsel number two. Don't run away from stress. Instead, manage it well. Don't run away from stress. Instead, manage it well. Often people expect life free of stress. But can I tell you something? There's no such thing called as a stress-free life. Stress is going to come. And let me also say this. There is a positive side to stress. And in some ways, stress is a good thing. Because if you look at the definition of stress, it is defined this way. It is a normal, internal, physiological mechanism that adapts us to change. It's a normal, internal, physiological mechanism that adapts us to change. Stress is a normal part of life and can be positive. Because what stress does, it alerts us that there is a problem. And you need to respond and fix it. See, stress is not always negative, but it is often an indicator of a problem that is going to come or a problem that is often happening. There was a family, and the woman in the family was going through a lot. Her husband lost the job, and the debts are increasing. In addition to all this, her mom has been sick. Her kids have been having difficulty with school, and one Sunday morning when she got up to go to church, the heater stopped working. The geyser stopped working. She was like, God, I can't take this anymore. Sometimes, we may go through situations like this. One after another, we may face failures of some kind. But I tell you, stress is not a problem if you can learn to manage it well. Because oftentimes, stress comes into our life because we are failing to manage three things. Okay, stress comes into our life because we're failing to manage three things. The first one is failing to manage time, manage our resources, and then failing to manage our opportunities. Are you with me? Stress is an indicator that you're failing to manage your time, your resources, and your opportunity. Stress indicates that you have to change the way you are living your life. But often many Christians, they believe that as a child of God, I should not experience any kind of stress. That's wrong. Because as we look at the scriptures, we see Paul going through a very stressful situation. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 8, Paul talks about his struggles and his sufferings. And he says like this, we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles we experienced in the province of Asia. He says like this, we were under great pressure far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. What is Paul saying? We were under great pressure far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Now let's read this in the NLT translation. It will give us a better perspective. 2 Corinthians 1:8 says like this, we were crushed and overwhelmed. Are you getting the point now? Yeah? Do you think God's people go through stress? Yes. But it's just an indicator of just telling you, change the way you are managing your life. Change the way you're seeing or living your life. Because there's something that happens in this passage. Paul says, we were crushed and overwhelmed beyond our ability to endure. And we thought we would never live it through. If you go to verse 9, he says, in fact, we expected to die. But as a result, this is what happens. We stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God. There's something that's happening here I want you to pay attention to. Paul goes through a very stressful situation because he was relying on himself. So the stress was an indicator saying that you have to put your trust in God. And he's saying like this, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God, who raises the dead. Are you with me? You see how stress can be helpful at times? See, stress is an indicator of a problem or something that you're doing that is going to cause great difficulty in the future. It's just an indication. It's like one of those warning lights that turns on before anything can happen. or one of those indicators that there is a problem happening and you need to fix it. But often, you know what we do? We immediately shut down everything and we say, I'm just going to pray now, or I'm just going to escape. I'm just going to watch something on YouTube, or I'm just going to distract myself. If you're stressed out, remind yourself, I need to change the way I'm living my life. When you do that, your situation will be different. So Paul says like this in verse 9, but as a result, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on God who raises the dead. And in verse 10, I like this verse. He said, and he did rescue us from mortal danger. And what will he do? He will rescue us again. We have placed our confidence in him, and he will continue to rescue us. So stress comes into Paul's life as an indication that you need to trust God. Put your hope in him and depend on him for everything. And now Paul says, as a result, we stop relying on ourselves, but only on God. And then he goes on to say, he will rescue us again. So even if anything were to come, God will take care of us. And that is why you see, at the end of his life, there was a shipwreck. Nowhere you'll find Paul complaining about that. You won't find him talking about, how he struggled in the shipwreck. In fact, the angel of the Lord encouraged him, and he encouraged people in the ship. The captain and everyone, he encouraged them. You know why? Because he understood that my confidence should be in Jesus. The situation changed his life. So when stress comes to you, don't run away, but learn to manage it. You'll learn a lesson and you'll be able to live your life much better. Amen. So when stress comes, instead of asking, God, take it away. Take it away. I don't want to experience this. Ask God for wisdom to manage your life well. Are you with me so far? Yes. 2 words of counsel that I've shared with you. First is, deal with bitterness. And second, don't run away from stress, but manage it